What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Speaking Llama, a Survivor podcast for our week one recap of Australian Survivor, Australia versus the world. And we are joined by a very special guest, the one, the only Karin. You know her best from Australian Survivor, Brain versus Brawn to how you doing today?
Doing good. I'm pumped because 3 episodes have gone by and I've been mesmerized, scandalized. Oh, it's so good. It's so good to be like a fan again.
Yes.
Slightly traumatizing seeing the same builds and the same campsite, but that's fine. Poverty Shallow can have my old shitty beach. You can have it.
Yeah, I can imagine, right, seeing that, oh, this is where I had that conversation, or, I'm sure there's imagine of like, oh, I slept there, or any number of things that happen as you're watching. But, I mean, you brought her up first. Parvati, the Black Widow is back.
Oh my God. My brain imploded. Like, I knew she was going to be on I knew she was going to be on it. She was in like that 9-minute thing, and I've watched every trailer and done it, but then like you see her walk onto the mat after like a bazillion years and you're just going like that was the sound that came out of my mouth.
Same. That's the exact sound that came out of my mouth too.
Like, I'm such a simp for Poverty Shallow, it's not even funny. Like, no,
I mean,
whatever.
who isn't, right? Like that. It's been so good. And even, I don't know if you got to watch Winners at War, but like this, we did not see this Parvati on Winners at War. And so it is so good to see her back in her full Black Widow self.
Oh, it was incredible. And like, just the web that was spun, I'm like, oh my God, this is like Micronesia Parvati. She's back. She's like reeling them in. And on her birthday too. Oh,
yes.
it was like they timed it. They're like, you know what? First episode, it's gonna be Pav's birthday. She's gonna be like up close to Boston Rob's record. Let's just give it to her.
Absolutely. And that does not do any favors to the people out there who believe Survivor is scripted. It's not. But
it is as God intended. Someone up there was like, nah, it's happening.
Absolutely. Well, we also know it's not scripted because 3 of the biggest players all went home this week, and I don't think any producer would want that. And we're going to talk about all that and more in this week one recap, and kind of diving into that. My kind of opening question for us is, did the other players send a message about this season, right? We see Rob, the Golden God, and George, 3 of the loudest, biggest players out there in a season full of loud and big players. But was a message sent this week?
Oh, it was 100%. And I think the women sent the message. It was very loud and clear. Like, you crossed Miss Parvati, out. Johnny, you asked me 2 seasons ago? Okay, out. Not today. And then Kirby was just like, oh, Dave? Oh, really? Me under your wing. Me under your wing. No, also gone. I think that was the message. That was like signed, sealed, delivered. It was epic, I think, for each of the women to just get a little cherry on the top of their wonderful cake of their Survivor game.
Yeah, so good. Well, on that, Alex and Karin, who are the standout players to you this week before we kind of dive into some of the nitty gritty parts of the episodes this week?
Alex, you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think the objective answer is Kirby, right? Like, I think she came in, again, I love the mat chat at the beginning of just like, yeah, I don't know who any of you are. And it's just so funny because it's like the egos out there just immediately shrink. Like, whoa, you don't know us? I love that. And it just cuts them right where it hurts, intentionally or unintentionally. But she's a standout for sure. And I think she's going to be a force going into the merge here next week, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, that's the only answer in my mind.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I think she like did a really good job of being like, I don't know who any of you are. Tony, who? How do you, where are you from? Did you win at some point? Okay, cool. Don't know you. Bye. And then she sort of like every sort of tribal, she's like, oh, I'm just amongst gods and kings. Like, who am I? I don't know any of you. David sort of clocked it and went,
Yep.
Ma'am, I had to come to you. You know what to do. But I think like that sort of like wheeling and dealing, icing on the cake. And then her just sort of like giving these like little subtle looks to Pav, very sort of, I don't know, foreshadowing of maybe an alliance that could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
And then, like, in everything wrong in the world in 2025, we need an alliance of Kirby, Shawnee, Parvati, like Serene. Like, that's the alliance that's going to cure the world.
Oh, yeah, it's like Black Widow Brigade 2.0. Actually, they need to find a new name. Something, I don't know, something spider related. Figure it out.
Well, if they do get together, do you have any recommendations from your experience with the Witches Coven on how to not turn on each other?
So if you have a plan, just amongst yourselves, maybe like to stick to it. Second, if you sort of happen to imprint on like another person, make sure they're not the most insufferable person on the entire show, because like that would really help, so that everyone else in your alliance doesn't also hate them. That would really help. A meat shield is great, but an insufferable one, no. And then also just make sure your besties aren't fighting.
Yeah,
that's a lot to keep track of.
just some simple advice from like many days of experiences of backstabbing and lying to your own alliance.
Yeah. There it is. Easy, right? Easy is 1, 2, 3. Well, with that, if this is your first time to the podcast, we like to take a wide view. We're not going to go episode by episode, but we're going to talk about the main events that happened on the World Beach this week and the main events that happened on the Aussie Beach this week. And so with that, yes, Alex.
First, I just want to thank you both for wearing black to join me, because I felt like I got stabbed episode 2 with my favorite player in the world for years being taken out second. I'm devastated. I'm traveling right now. I'm in a hotel because I can't even bear the thought of being in my living room where I watched it go down. I had to burn it down. So I am devastated, and I honestly didn't want to show up today.
Alex, I think we can finally agree on something. Like,
yeah.
So Dave Janae, I get like made fun of all the time because they're like, you just like him because he's pretty, and I'm like, no, I like him because he's toxic.
Yes.
The quote of the episode.
Like, my favorite Dave Janae is like Champions V Contenders 2 Dave Janae, who is unhinged, so toxic, and so like just flamboyantly like annoying. Oh,
yes.
Bring it back.
I think my favorite scene is like the popcorn reward.
Yeah.
Where he's face first in the popcorn and his family's behind him.
And All Stars Daisy Blindside, where he's like,
yep. Oh, I have that GIF saved on my phone. Pull it out every
It is my favorite tribal. I love that tribal for just like, oh my God, Brooke, please, like, oh my God, please play the idol for me.
Right. He knows it's going down and he flushes it and gets her to play it on him.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
I got pissed because after the episode, I went on Reddit, and every Reddit loser out there is like, "See, we knew David couldn't play. He's horrible. It was stacked for him, and he couldn't even do it." It's like, shut the hell up.
Stacked for him. Oh, anyways, well, this is not a Golden God podcast,
it could be,
but it.
Alex, we're starting a new podcast.
I'm in. All right, let's kick Caleb off here. There we go. All right, so, Golden God podcast starts today. Welcome.
The Golden Pod.
Wow,
that's what we're calling it.
The Golden Pod.
He had a podcast called the Golden Podcast.
Oh, did he? Oh, damn. Well, bring it back. Anyway, we're sidetracking. But like, look, big GG fan. However, Like, man's fumbled the read on Kirby, and that was like the biggest mistake. And I think also approaching it, I don't know, approaching Oz versus the World the same way he approached All Stars also maybe why he fumbled that as well. Like, sure, returnee players in All Stars, like, this is a different ballpark altogether. You can't just be like, hey, partner, just come under my wing. I'll show you we're ride or die. I'm like, that's not going to work. It worked on a Moana, Tarzan, and Jackie. Not going to work in this context. So, like, you know, our Lord and Savior really dropped the ball.
I agree. And I will say, I think the same thing could probably be said about George, too. Like, George's game style, working with all newbies or even half newbies, half returnees, and to now an all-star cast, felt like it couldn't click. They just weren't, they couldn't be, you know, masked or, you know, taken under his wing like some other people have.
Yeah.
No, it is a interesting, like, both George and I think to some extent I didn't see South Africa, but Rob seemed to be, from what I know about him, seemed to be playing a similar style game, and all three of them didn't adapt their game to this new cast of players. And even if I think about previous Survivor season, all returning player seasons, is that most of the players that try to play the same way, outside of a Russell Hantz, who the other players did not have the benefit of seeing his first season. If you play the same way, you go home.
Like, I think the thing that happened with Rob was he was talking to the likes of Cass, Tommy, and Lisa, like they didn't know what they were doing. Like, oh yeah, we need to do this, we need to, and also the mentality of we need to vote out the weakest. That's like schoolyard Survivor. That's like, oh my god, I watched Survivor yesterday. Let's vote out the weak mentality. Like, that's not gonna work.
Right.
And Sari Fields, weak? Come on.
That's what I was gonna say. Yes. And even like Lisa, right? She's a badass. She knows what she's doing, and she's acting like she doesn't to your face. So you're blindsided when you go home, right?
So Lisa's season, her OG like New Zealand season, was like she knew she was a super fan, and she came in hot, just basically being like, "I'm a librarian. I'm like a, I'm a mom. Like, woohoo! I'm so excited to be here. Gosh darn it, it's so cool." And then pretty much like flushed idol after idol, and then just came to the end and went, "Suckers."
Well, now I'm gonna have to go watch that season. So.
It's good. It's good, and like I love her just being like, yeah. So I'm just the reigning champion for life because they're never gonna shoot another one again. So, like Lisa one-liners for like the first episode were just great, and her just like tripping, like falling into the water over like the tiniest like wave. Oh, gold, absolute gold.
Well, speaking of Lisa and this world beach, my question for you, Kaz, who is the Sari Fields to your Lisa? Who is the player that if you got to go on there that you'd be like, whatever you want, we're gonna work together, if good or bad for my game? Like
in this world game or
in Survivor history?
Oh,
right?
Natalie Anderson. Like, oh my god,
okay.
Like, I would like vote myself out. I would keel over and die. If that was like, I was like lucky enough to ever be on an Australia versus World, and Nat Anderson wasn't there, I'd be like, okay, sign me up. Like, what do you want? Me, perfect. I'll go. I will go. Do you want anything? A back massage? Like, do you want me? Like, I have socks. I have one sock. Anything. Oh, literally.
Great choice, right? Great choice. Alex,
things for her.
Alex, my question for you is, how many players would you do that for? Because it's like, so many. I could name them all off.
I figured your question would be who wouldn't you do that? The answer is almost no one.
So shade him out like that. Alex knows, quality and quantity. Come on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm for anyone listening, if I happen to be, years from now on an Australia versus the World 2 or 7, I need to make sure everyone knows that I will vote myself out for them. So I will lay down.
Every single one of you, I will vote myself out. Coach, I will do that for you.
Let me write it.
Brad Culpepper. I will vote myself out for Brad Culpepper.
That's so good.
Man.
No, I truly like. Lisa is all of us, right? Like Suri, like if Parvati was on my tribe, it just immediately like, I'm sorry, I'm the perfect casting choice for fans versus favorite season because I don't care about my own game at that point. So, but yeah, Golden God would be the top up there. You know, we've gotten to know a number of Australian Survivor players. We have not gotten to speak to him. He is my favorite in the world. So that is the one I would give butterflies and just immediately say, hey, I'm your mercenary. What do you want me to do?
Oh, that's good. Well, you all, I would vote everyone out. That's just me. You know, no, that's not actually true. There are plenty of players out there. Like who? Let me think. Eden, I'd probably do anything for. Who else? Haley Leak, I would also do anything for. Right, she's my favorite Australian Survivor player of all time. So similarly, you know, Haley's out there. What do you need me to do? I'll be the Simon puppy dog that Simon was for you, for Haley. But we are going down a rabbit hole that we need to get back on track with this episode. Let's talk about the events of the World Tribe. We obviously got to see some old faces, some U.S. Survivor players, legendary players on the Australian beach, or, you know, the Samoan beach of Australian Survivor. We have this question about what's in the box and, you know, Rob's rise and fall. But my question is, whose strategy on this world beach are you most impressed by or stuck out this week?
I mean, like, so 2 parts. Like, Pav for the masterclass that was episode 1, where Cass and Lisa are there, and she goes, "Who are we voting for, ladies? What's happening? What's going on? Oh my god, is it me? Is it me? It's me." And you can just see the two of them be like, "Oh, like it could not be you. It could be someone else. Like, no, we wouldn't be." Guys, what are we doing? And I'm just going, oh my god, like I was like, is everyone seeing this? Like, I would fall for this. I'm staying and going like, I would totally not fall for that. But, you know, brilliant. So like Pav in full force, just like absolutely flexing, brilliant. But then in contrast, like Tony for just sort of like reigning in the Tony, which usually doesn't happen. Like, I thought Tony would be like machete wielding, spy shack building all over the place.
I agree. Yeah. I was expecting that too, and I think it's a good thing we aren't getting that yet. I'm hopeful we get it when him and Luke link up, assuming they both get to merge and get kind of a dual King of the Jungle spy shack situation going on. My thing with Tony is all I want him to do is to speak Llama this season. The amount of people in Australia who are like, "What's your name? What does that mean? I don't understand." Like, bring it to like Tony, help us out, man. Put it in there. Come on, help us out. No, I agree.
Subtle segue, but Phil from Brains V Brawn 1 and Eileen from Tiny Rebels, we did a Kagayan marathon, like watched it from start to finish. And by around like midnight was when we got to Llama episode, and we were delirious. And all three of us were like, "Oh my god, we need old Survivor back. Like, why can't we like make llama noises? This is unhinged behavior." And then we went to like the tribal where it was brutal, and I went, "Man, bring this back." So yeah, I want Llama Tony, and I'm proud of Tony for like, you know, keeping it down on the down low. Yeah.
Well, I believe the previews for this upcoming week's episode is that we might see a little bit more of Llama Tony come out, which that's his thing, right? So he has to strike when it's necessary. Otherwise, right? He is kind of on the bottom, not quite fully on the bottom at this point, but I also agree. I think Tony is playing to the best of his ability in the cards that he has been dealt so far. I'm also just interested in how the U.S. players got out of the 3 to 4 hole that they were in. I mean, maybe it was just Rob's undoing, that saves them. But I am genuinely impressed that a Suri or Parvati vote out would have been very easy from the international players. And I think it speaks to the U.S. players' social relationship and their ability to build bonds very quickly. That highlights their ability to be able to survive a 3-4 deficit going into this part of the season.
And I think when Lisa was super earnest with Suri, I think Suri could have easily been like, "Yeah, cool, whatever, super fan, go away." But she was genuinely interested and very open to forming a relationship. And later on, when the idol clue, everything came into play, Suri brought her into that fold as well. So she's genuinely making having a relationship with Lisa. So I think that's the best part. And then obviously now they've got this security blanket of what will probably, I don't know, hopefully become the Black Widow Brigade 2.0, who now have a clue. Cass has an idol.
Yep.
So much power going into probably merge in the next couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, that's a question. It wasn't clear to me. Do the other people know about Kaz's idol?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So Luke has an idol that no one knows about, and also no one knows about it. David didn't know about it. Cass's idol no one knows about, and then the clue, I don't know who's gonna make a run for that one.
but that scene of her sitting on the box and Tony just kind of waiting. Again, that's old school Survivor. Just this is exactly what we want. And to see Suri Parvati, 20 years later after Micronesia, do this, and Tony's just waiting there. I mean, it is incredible. And I love Suri. She's like, I'm getting too old for this shit. Me too, Suri. I can't handle it either.
But even when they were trying to open the box, they're fumbling with it, can't get the stupid latch open. And Tony is pretty much head first into a well.
Yep.
I'm this is so good. Lisa is pretty much holding Tony's legs. The two of them can't, and then Suri and Parvati can't get a damn key open. I went, oh my God, they just gave us so many snapshots of just OG Survivor. And then cut to the Australian tribe also imploding. Absolutely.
Well, one other thing I want to say in this World Tribe, right? I agree, part of Suri, the social game, really made this happen. But also want to give credit to Cass, to Lisa, to Tommy for being adaptable and making that happen. Not just saying, "Hey, it's 4 versus 3, let's just ride with it," but to really say, okay, what makes the most sense for our game here? And I don't know about Tommy. We haven't gotten much from him. I feel like he's probably next out if the world goes to tribal council, but I think at least for Lisa and Cass, it was absolutely the right decision to link up with these two and ride it out as long as they can.
Because Cass would have played hardcore Survivor because the Quebec seasons go on for days, a ridiculous amount, and she was runner up. So my God, that's a lot of days out there. So it'll be really interesting, and I think Cass getting the idol, so good longevity in the game for her. And we need to see more of the Nordic wolf. Give us, I don't know, maybe there'll be a full moon and he can howl at it.
Well, what we need him howling while Tony is saying, speaking his llama, right? we need the wolf and llama conversation to happen. Get on it, Australians.
This is the World Tribe Zoo at this point. But.
Right. I was gonna say, I love the World Tribe. It's the Black Widow, the llama, the wolf, and then you've got the Australian tribe. It's the gods, the kings.
What's happening here? But it's kind of poetic because even at that tribal where JLP is the king's gone, the god's gone, and Luke's hey, I'm still here. What am I, liver? But testament to Luke Toki there, staying in it. So no, okay, well, we should divert back to Australia. I'm being really unpatriotic. I'm just the Americans.
Well, you're the opposites.
We're the opposite. Yeah, it's fine. Come on, Australia. Well, I do want to jump over to the Australia beach but real fast, do we think that Rob, right, what was his biggest misstep here in terms of this play? For me, I think it is, I think he probably should not have like pressured too hard to the tribe, right? I think, Kaz, you mentioned it, that he was playing as if these people had never played Survivor before.
Yeah. And like also the that incredibly cringe, awkward conversation where Tommy, Lisa, and I think Cass is there as well, and then Parvati comes up, and Rob's like, "Oh, who do you want to go for?" And then Parv very delicately just went, "No, I don't think I want to disclose that." After like she'd clearly tried to form some sort of like relationship with him, like, dude, don't out yourself, like as much as you want to be the kingpin, like just if she's extended an olive branch, use it to as much as you want, and then like kneecap her, whatever.
Yeah. I feel
like everyone.
Yeah, and there has to be a degree of loyalty, right? Because there's that situation, but even he said he was blindsided, and I think he voted for Sari, but yet at Tribal he threw her under the bus with David and Deal or No Deal Island. And so it's like, bro, you have to work with her a little bit to at least keep up the facade. You can't totally expose her, especially not Parvati shallow. Like that's
like day one, no, like in a couple of days.
Oh man, well, for better or worse, Rob is gone. Let's go over to the Aussie beach here, where we have their own cast of gods, kings, princesses that are happy. We talked about Kirby's gameplay and the masterful job that she has demonstrated her ability to build relationships. I think if you didn't watch her season very closely, you may be surprised how well Kirby does at this game, especially socially, but she is showing it here. But who are the other standout players for you this week with this Australian tribe?
So I mean, Australian editing, heavy-handed as always.
Yeah.
Like Kirby's gotten a lot. Like George sort of, I don't know if standout is a good thing standout in a good way. Like George under-Georged in the second episode and then really over-Georged in the third episode, which was ultimately his undoing. Yeah. But like, that's the thing. I can't say I have a huge like standouts from Australian tribe. They've managed to blow themselves up, unfortunately.
And maybe even it's Luke for not blowing himself up. I mean, he lost Dave, but like, he's keeping it in there.
Absolutely.
I am really loving Shawnee as well this season. I mean, the revenge on George and it's the slow burn, right? She didn't come out day one and say I'm taking you out, but I did love where he pulls her aside and he's like, "Hey, no animosity towards you." And she's like, "You voted me out."
Twice.
No. So no, I really like Shawnee's game. I'm interested in Sarah's game too. Yep. I don't hate it in terms of like you're choosing a group to work with. Now, episode 3 got a little fuzzy where like she's kind of going after Shawnee. I personally hate it because she made the choice to take out David instead of working with him. So I'm just genuinely upset. But I don't necessarily hate it from a strategic point.
I think mainly, I think I'm a little bit bummed because like I love Sarah's game from when she originally played. She is the original Sneak. Like she flip-flopped everywhere. And I kind of wanted her to play a maybe like more finessed version of that where it's not necessarily flip-flopping. She's just sort of like deviating where she needs to. Like, a live target is always hard to, go after. So I wanted her to do that, just sort of evading. And like she went down a different route, which was, stay loyal, stay solid. But, I think what got me was where she like sort of was like, I swear it on our friendship. I'm like, no, don't do that. Like stab him in the back. Absolutely. But like, say I'm going with this alliance. I'm staying true to that one. Unfortunately, I'm just going to have to axe you, but like, don't swear on your friendship. That was what sort of went, oh no, Sarah, please. But yeah, I think she's an incredible player. I just want, maybe hopefully like once the like there's a lot of big personalities, and I think games like her can get a bit lost. So hopefully, if these people are out of the equation, she can sort of come to, with what she's good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that is what she's trying to build towards, right? Kind of have the trust so that she can be a little bit sneakier in the late game versus where she was sneaky in the early game first time around, and now no one trusts her to be able to do anything. And so we'll see if it works out for her. I do think it's interesting how these kind of previous relationships have come, right? So it seems like Sarah really wanted to attach herself to somebody that she didn't already know in order to kind of build that trust. Because she could have easily just, I'm going to be, my ride or die is going to be David. I mean, what would have been a controversial maybe opinion if you're not Alex, but we'll see what happens with her.
We'll see what happens. But the other thing is, like, she is like a perceptive player. Like, I think when she sort of clocked on to Kirby and she goes like, oh, I think she tried to like back me into a corner by giving me the information really late. I think that's what Kirby intended it to be, being like, all right, cool. We're going to go for George. We're going to go for George. Actually, you're going to have to prove your loyalty now. Go for David. And like Sarah clocked it. It's made, I don't know if it's just how she said it or like the edit, like it made her sound paranoid, but that's not paranoia. I think she was just like, I think you tried to corner me there.
Well, when even she is picking up on that secret relationship with Shawnee and Kirby too, right? I mean, he's not wrong for being insecure or threatened by Shawnee here with Kirby because they do have that secret alliance working together. And again, I didn't hate like when she was like, hey, yesterday you made me take out David, so now let's take out Shawnee. Like, I need you to prove that you are equally in this too. I mean, we know that Kirby's probably not going to do that, but it is a solid argument for those two together. Yeah,
exactly. Like if she doesn't matter, get her out. Get rid of your other girlfriend. No.
Right.
No.
Which in Kirby's defense, I do think that taking out Shawnee at that point would have been really dangerous for their collective game. Because as much as like the argument that, well, Shawnee might just go over to the other side is true, George was going to, like, he's too chaotic to leave in the game. And that is the mistake that the HVV cast made, is that they did not get him out soon enough because he got a foothold into other people's games into that. And so I do think Kirby made the right call here. And Kirby, I don't quite know how they landed on George, but they ended up all voting for George.
Yeah. It's because, so the thing about the George steamroller is it really works with sort of those newbie seasons where George loves a rage bait, and it gets under people's skin. Like in Heroes versus Villains, it got under Simon's skin so many times that it just baited Simon into saying something like stupid to blow his own game up, which rallied all these like newer players behind George who were like, oh, what? Oh, Simon's just implicated himself. Oh, George. Okay, fine. This is the figurehead I'm going to latch myself onto. I'm going to go with George. Whereas now, when George is doing a George again and going hellbent on Janine's just like, no, shut up.
Yeah.
Like actually sit down.
Right.
I love Janine for that. It was beautiful. It was like, listen, I am not Matt, right? This is Janine. You can't do this to me.
Yeah, like, I will mango mantra that out of you. That's a Boost Juice reference for everyone. It's a really good feeling.
Oh goodness. Well, on that note, but I do want to highlight, I think, Janine and Luke here. I think they're both playing an interesting game. You know, David is obviously the clear big threat of that three. Alex and I had some predictions, or at least some worries, that those three would be immediately targeted by the other four. And it seems like that, especially Luke and Janine, have done a good job of reacclimating themselves and giving themselves a couple of options. And I love the bond that they have to each other. Right? They seem to kind of be a pair going forward. As we got later into that tribal council, I was trying to figure, it seemed like Shawnee was going home, and I was like, is Luke going to play as idol for Shawnee? Like, how does I had gotten spoiled. And so knew that George went home.
Yeah.
But how do we think Luke and Janine are going to fare going forward?
Well, like, first of all, I don't think Shawnee appreciated copping a few votes.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, and like she like homegirl is gonna know who you know did that. So I feel like a Shawnee on a warpath, especially a Shawnee going into merge on a warpath, would be very interesting because she's gonna be like, well, you voted for me, you voted for me. I'm gonna make new friends. I'm just gonna skip on down with my tea dress. That makes sense. So I feel like that's going to be interesting to watch. And then Luke needs to find another foothold. Like, he's only got Janine at this point. Curbs is already proved that she can pretty much form a bond with anyone. So I don't know where Luke is going to pivot to next.
Yeah.
I think Shawnee would be a good pivot for him.
Yes.
If they can mend the extra votes.
Yeah. Well, when it's tough too, because it's not like if I'm Shawnee and it's just a single vote, it's just Janine, and it's like, hey, it was a safeguard. He said he had an idol. I'm really sorry, but it was 2 votes, which I love the loyalty of Janine just saying, I need you to help me out. Vote for Shawnee, please, and Luke just immediately saying yes. But I think that's going to come back to bite them. I agree, especially. I mean, Shawnee, she probably knows Parvati's history. Like, let me go talk to Parvati, Cass, Lisa, Suri. I mean, that's an obvious alliance there. Would love to see Luke kind of connect up with Suri or someone unexpected. I think that would be really fun. I think the expectation is him and Tony might connect up, but which would be incredible. But would love to see or him and Cass connect up or something just unexpected. I think would be really cool. Yeah.
I'm like that's the cool part. We Australian Tribe, you can sort of see who's game play styles sort of intersects and who hates who. Because but it's just when these coalesce, that's when it's gonna be super interesting. Where's Finland gonna go? Where is Finland?
Where is the Nordic wolf going once this tribe happens? Well, with that, let's talk
I said Finland. He's from Norway. God.
No, it's Finland. It's
Finland? Okay.
I think he calls himself. I don't remember what it is. I didn't do enough of my research on this beforehand. But let's talk a little bit about predictions going forward for this next week's episode. We have a merge coming up. I think it's interesting that we have some pretty big feuds happening on the Aussie beach between the developing Sarah versus Kirby relationship, the Shawnee being upset at Luke and Janine, whereas the world beat, they just voted out one person and kind of unanimously. So what are our predictions when these 2 competing tribes start to come together?
Right. So my prediction is I think Shawnee's gonna hightail out of there. I think Shawnee's gonna do a runner. But it's just a matter of if she takes Kirby with her or if she sort of uses Kirby as a decoration for her. Just bulldozes right over her. Yeah. And yeah, I think that will be my prediction. I feel like the Black Widow Brigade +1 might be Shawnee. And I feel like Sarah might try and hang on to her relationships with Luke and Janine just to sort of salvage that voting block of 3. If she's already sort of worried about the Shawnee Kirbiness of the situation and worried that they're not a block. So it's it makes sense for her to go with a majority of some sort and just expect to drag in another straggler. And I don't know. I don't know if the Australians think they can get Lisa in just out of hey, this side of the pond. Yeah.
No, that's good. I'm wondering too, if I'm Luke or Janine, I may go over there and say, hey, we're on the bottom. These 3 are all working together. Right. There's a world, and I would hate this world, and I don't want to speak it into existence, but where Kirby is probably the first target on the Australian tribe, because everyone knows she's kind of been at the center of everything. And especially depending on how Sarah feels with not taking out Shawnee, I could easily see her going back to Luke and Janine as well. So I think there's a world where Kirby could be a somewhat unanimous target across the board at an early merge tribal council, which would be devastating, not only to me, but also to Team Alex, who all I have left is Kirby and Parvati. So I'm not feeling anchored yet.
Why did you pick all the biggest targets?
Okay, so obviously I'm going to pick David first, right? We only picked 3. So I picked David first, and then I had the last pick, and Caleb didn't pick Parvati, and I was like, it is a disservice to the world to not have Parvati on a fantasy tribe. So I will take it, a charity case, right?
Charity.
All Parvati is charity.
Oh my! Get out of here, Alex.
Cut that.
Don't cut it. Send it to Parvati's.
Cut that. No, my
Alex
heart
sends
couldn't
his
handle
regards.
Heart couldn't handle it, so she's on Team Alex. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose all 3 before Caleb.
I'm predicting, like, I don't know, by second episode of this weekend, you're done.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
But this is the thing, because all the Australians have to do is be like, hey, Kirby's resume now includes Dave, Janae, and George.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, 2 of the biggest players in Australian Survivor, one by one, axed by one person. Like, that's a killer resume, and we're like not even 3-4 days in. So
that is my one concern with Kirby's gameplay, is I think she maybe has come out a little bit too big, too fast. I did not as cool as it was to like see her flex the social power of turning to Sarah and saying, hey, it's going to be Dave. Let's test you. I think we're seeing the discord that is creating within Sarah, and that potentially is going to burn her relationship with her. I do think Kirby is a good enough player to survive long enough. Potentially there is a path forward for her, but I agree with Alex. I'm worried that she's going to be an early boot target. But we'll see what happens. Any other, if one of the other, the 3 remaining international players that aren't US or Australia, who do we think is best primed to go farthest?
Lisa.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she's really, so I don't know if this is like Twitter lore or if it's actually real. Apparently, like, Lisa made a video like pretty much like about herself, trashing herself. Yes. And then made another account and then like just fought the comments being like, nah, Lisa's trash, she sucks, she's a terrible player, to like throw everyone off the scent.
Yep. I saw an article about that. It's incredible.
Like, my God, the meta, like, Jesus Christ, we talk about pregame being like, oh my God, Parvati and Dave are on Dondi together. What the?
Right.
Like, oh my God, that is the fact that she put that much thought into it, being like, they're not going to know who the hell I am. They're going to YouTube me, like, the best of, like, Lisa. And then all they're going to find is this video just being like, oh God, she sucks.
So good.
Lisa maybe has just become my new favorite player. She's at least my favorite New Zealand Survivor player.
This is the only New Zealand player you know.
Jeez.
Oh, don't say that,
I've just ruined all of your New Zealand. Like, hope of getting any traction in New Zealand. Gone.
Now the Parvati stands are coming after us. The Lisa stands are coming after us.
This podcast is never going to air because we've just trashed all of International Survivor. Let's go to South Africa now.
Yeah, don't get me started.
Stop. I'm kidding. No. Oh man.
Oh goodness.
One thing I wanted to ask y'all's opinion about, it was one of my favorite scenes and one of the most uncomfortable scenes I've ever witnessed, was David, George, and Kirby, where George just immediately is like, well, hey, she's right here. That's who's throwing your name out. Kaz, like, if you're Kirby in that situation, what's going through your mind? What do you do?
I see, like, as someone that has a very good control of their temper, like historically has really and good anger management issues. Like, oh my God, she kept it together so well. I don't know if she was just dumbfounded and she just went, you fucking idiot, or whether she was so livid. She just went, I'm going to hit something if I don't shut up. And even in Tribal, when he got up to talk to David, the face just went, I ain't going to kill you. I'm going to I like, so the funny thing is, so we were at a watch party when this episode was airing. So it's on a big screen. We're watching this happen. And right below is Kirby. And then there's George. And we're all just doing this, looking up at the screen, looking back at them, looking up at the screen, looking back at them. And it's the longest silence ever. But it made even funnier because George has a camera up and is like doing this. And Kirby is just cinema. You had to be there.
Oh my god.
Yes, Alex, it was an incredible moment. One, I understand in part why George does it, but also I think in this game it highlighted to me that we saw George the character playing and not George the player playing in this game, because I think he came onto this and he wanted to be bigger than his character could be in this type of season.
Not just his ass.
So I do think George can be a really good player, but I think he came in and he tried to play his character too much versus actually play the game of Survivor. And I think we saw that in the confidence that he had after Dave goes home. I do think he probably got, the edit was trying to throw him under the bus a little bit because it makes for a more satisfying boot. But man, he had some confidence.
Well, even the edit of the opening sequence, the title sequence, where like the flag hits him in the face.
Yes.
Oh my god! Diabolical. Who did that?
It's awful.
Who in the editing room was like, "Hey, did you find a good clip of George?" No, I haven't got one.
Here's David, 6'4", Greek god. The flag hits George in the face.
Sun just blazing off his biceps, and Rob staring into your soul, and then George.
Unreal. And I will give it to George though too. Obviously the David episode destroyed me, but he did he technically voted the way Luke told him to vote. It wasn't until the revote, or I guess he was the revote, so he didn't even revote. That was really interesting to me because I figured he would just immediately flip on the power bottoms, right? Of that alliance. So yeah.
Because I think that's what baffled me. I was like, George, you surely don't think that this has any longevity. Even the conversation the three of them had where, George is like, oh, you're the king of the jungle. You're the golden god. I'm the king of Bankstown. And those two burst out laughing. I'm like, oh, no, George, this is just schoolyard. They're the two hot jocks and you're the kid with the glasses. No, they don't want to play. They don't want to play with you. And I'm like, George, you don't bow down to these people. You never do. Don't do that. No, no power bottom.
Right.
No.
Yeah, it felt off. It was an incredible alliance though. For that moment.
For one brief tiny moment, it was good. But not anymore.
Yeah. Caleb's having Wi-Fi issues. He just texted me, but he's fine. Honestly, hey, let's start our Golden God podcast right now.
All right, okay. Oh my God, tell me the 5 favorite things about you.
I was just about to say the same thing.
I love his hair. I love the way he wears his sarong, especially as a toga.
So good. Oh, okay. Yeah, Caleb, you can share now. We just shared our favorite things about David.
Of course, when I have technical difficulties, that is what y'all spend the time doing. Starting the Godcast 2.0 without me. My favorite.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say we're gonna start some sort of cult where we just have a figurine of David and just.
You're acting like we don't.
I was gonna say Alex already does that.
Oh, let me just hide though.
My favorite thing about the Golden God is simply that watching Alex squirm anytime there's like he gets just so excited about him. Like I love how much Alex loves the Golden God.
Well, and it was just poetic, right? I'm gonna go on my soapbox because it was after the first episode. Caleb hadn't watched it yet, and I was like, Caleb, it's like the Olympics, and I was like, and it means so much to me because David is my favorite player of Survivor in the entire franchise, and he's been ever since he was the reason I got into Australian Survivor. So I'm like, this is incredible. I'm watching it live. It's not, I can't binge it. I'm watching it live. Literally 12 hours later, I hop on Instagram and I see David got voted out before I could even watch the episode and got spoiled. Like, damn it. I was at a workout class and like I'm waiting for it to start and I see David goes, like, are you kidding me? So then
do you know what the travesty of this whole situation is? That channel, so the episode like just finishes and then they put up the photo of Dave as like the new host in the most butt ugly outfit. They have made a 6'5" model look heinous. How?
Yes.
Like, why did they put him in a stupid ponytail and this stupid button down in like 3 different tones of denim? Like, no. You made an objectively attractive man unattractive.
Yes.
I think his uniform as the host should be like shirtless with the scarf and the hat. Like that, he shows up every day, just like that.
Just a hat and a scarf.
That's all I need.
Oh,
I need like the Jeff Pro Cook Islands like cowboy hat. That's the early 2000s sunglasses, everything.
Yeah. Oh, like anything but what I don't like. Costume needs to be fired. Like no.
Yes.
Well, on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of the Godcast to go back to our episode of Speaking Llama and go into our last segment of our Outwit, Outplay, Outlast players or moments of the week. We'll kind of do a rapid fire of each of these for all of us. So our Outwit, who played the best socially, or what was the best social moment for you this week? Let's start with Alex.
I want to just pick David for all 3, but I won't. I'm gonna pick Parvati for Outwit, just especially episode 1. It truly felt like I was watching Micronesia, her talking to James as she was talking about. I'm like, she's doing the same thing, and it's working. I also have listened to last few weeks her book talking about kind of all her experiences. So I'm very much in my head with Parvati right now. So it's part for me.
Here's what I prepared earlier.
There it is. It's so good.
What about you, Cass? Who gets your Outwit player?
So I think Kirby, like the moment where it's like, the princess having a bubble bath and she's quite literally just floating in the bay going, okay, as you wish, next, please come. And the frustration in David being like, I cannot believe I have to go to the water's edge to her, me? And Kirby's just going, okay, sure. I guess I'll work with you. And then like one after another, every single one of them just comes up to her. And I'm going, this is brilliant. You genuinely did not know who any of like the Australian, like the World Tribe were. And I can guarantee she hasn't watched any of the other like Australian players. She's done enough research to know how they play, because like I think that's like her style. She reads players and how they play as opposed to, watching an entire season. And she just went, okay, I know what you do. I know what you do. I know what you do. I'm just going to watch you fumble this. And then I'll just pick up all the goodies that you've left behind. And I think that's why I thought she was mwah.
Absolutely. Mine goes with Alex, with Parvati. In particular, Kaz, you mentioned the moment earlier where she is with all of them and going, it's me, isn't it? It's like the social play of trying to get the read on them by putting them in that pressure situation. And I thought it was a brilliant social play, which again, Parvati's Parvati. So I'm not surprised that it happened. I'm just continued to be impressed though.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Outlast. Challenges or advantages. Kaz, take us away. Who is the player or the moment this week?
So I think challenge wise, oh man, David, just like it was like Atlas with the globe on his back.
Yes.
The entire weight of his tribe on his back and just hoiks it up. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
That's why you can't leave David in the game before you go to merge. Like if you give him an individual challenge, like it's like as much of like George, strategic powerhouse, you can sort of rely on him not to win a couple of challenges. David in full form will probably hit both and hit the social one as well. So yeah, like I think for me, like the big Herculean push, that was challenge. Great.
So
yeah. For me, it has to be, Alex knows that I have one rule. You don't tell people about your idols until you're about to play them. So it goes to both Luke and Cass because they are, at least in US Survivor, people have forgotten that rule. And so anytime I see someone not tell an idol, I'm like, yeah, way to go. Good job. So they get my out.
Team AJ.
Oh, goodness. Alex, what about you? What is your outplay moment or player?
Yeah, it is to whoever, the person who designed the very first challenge, the reward challenge, whoever came up with that idea. I think it's great. I saw on Reddit, I think it was like, US or Jeff doesn't want to do any like 1v1 challenges. This is a great way to do it where it's not killing each other to do it. But I thought it was fun. It's iconic with the giant slide, but it also, it's not just a Maroonie and it's not everyone wins everything. There's some strategy and choice in the matter that could come back to bite you later on. Hey, I'm going to take the flint over the tarp, but now we lost the tarp or something like that. I just thought it was a really fun challenge to start off. Now, my favorite challenge will always be heroes versus villains with like Simon like pulling down Sean and like stealing all the food. That's going to be my favorite Marine challenge, but I thought this is great.
Yeah. Like I genuinely want like, Australian Survivor where like you see a challenge and you're like, oh, this is just designed to kill us. Like who in OH&S went, yeah, cool. This is a great challenge. No one will get hurt on this. This is a great idea. And I just want to see the Americans go, shit. Damn it. The Australians really kept this part of OG old school Survivor intact. And like that's kind of what I want. I want like a sumo at sea where Suri's like, damn it, I'm too old for this.
Yeah, I think that'll probably happen if any one of them makes it to the final challenge. They're gonna see that final and they're like, what is this? This is not Simotion. Right?
Oh, damn it, it's not a slide puzzle on a slide puzzle.
Oh, goodness. Okay, wrapping up with the Outlast, who helped their game the most this week. I'm going to be loyal to Team Caleb and pick Tony because I think that in a world where he could be an early target for playing too chaotically, that we have seen Tony do before. He is not sitting the best in this game, but he is right in the middle, which is exactly where Tony needs to be at this point. What about you, Alex?
It's David.
David got voted out.
I don't care. I've never been able to pick David for any of these things in the past like 5 fucking years we've done this. So I'm picking David.
Who's your favorite? David. Who do you love? David. What's the name of your next born child? David.
Well, I named my dog after Malcolm, US Survivor player. So if I get another dog, Davy's a great dog name, right? Caleb's frozen again. He's so excited of what I just said.
That's what we'll leave Caleb on. We'll just
leave that
excitement. There. Yeah,
that's great. Katz, what about you? Who's your out last?
I'm gonna go with Luke. I think sort of the Luke Dave combo would have been a huge target to start off with, and like everyone knows that they have like a very good relationship. And he's also notorious for playing like strategic, sneaky games as well. So to minimize his threat level, still make enough connections so that he keeps his attachment to David when it's needed, but is fluid enough that people are still talking to him where they're going, hey, do you reckon, like, do you want to vote out Janine? Would you reckon David now? Would you reckon David later? Hey, I still want to work with you. I think that's very, very, very good by him. Where he's like, look, I'm smart enough to stick with what I know, but I'm also going to be fluid enough to say I'll vote out my allies if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke's my outlast.
Incredible. Yeah, that's so good. Do you think there's a world where he would take out Janine?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I think Luke will do what's best for Luke, depending on the situation. So yeah, if he needs to vote out Janine for a better option, absolutely. I think he'll do that.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. Welcome back, Caleb.
Welcome back. Well, I think my computer is telling me, Caleb, it is time to wrap up the episode. As much fun as this has been, I think we could probably spend another hour chatting just about our love of the Golden God. Not just...
And we will.
With that in mind, Kaz, thank you so much for hopping on. You are always a joy to chat with, and you are welcome on this podcast anytime. Anything you want to say to the fans, where they can find you, anything happening? Yeah, this is your time.
My time to shine. Okay. So, my David Janae fan account will. I've found my love for Twitter again, so I'm back on Twitter at It's Karin. I'm still on Instagram. You can find me wherever. And occasionally I get forced into making a TikTok with Logan and Laura. But if you want to tune into that, I'm there. And sometimes when I get really sort of like annoyed at work, I'll make a work-related TikTok with people seem to annoy. Like, this is not a social media maven. It's like, I don't know. You two like sometimes invite me to talk about things no one else does, but like unhinged. That's why.
Hey, we are here for a good time, and this has been a good time for all those that have made it to this end of this point of the episode. Thank you for doing so. You can find Speaking Llama on Instagram, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your media of choice. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll be back with you next week with another recap week of this epic season. And until then, we'll speak Llama to you later.